Welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream for ustream.tv and also recorded for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. I'm in the Kerby Rosanes Imagimorphia and I'm going to zoom in my little tray, which is built for really modelers really, so that they can have all their little tools about. But it fits in a A4 sized cutting mat, so it'd be quite good for crafters as well, and it stops your paintbrushes rolling about. So I've got my 3-4 paintbrushes, my little soft baby wipe that's damp. I've got my water and my water pot. I'm not going to put that in, it's a bit too dirty. I'll pour some of that in there and regret it because it was too much. So hopefully that water's going to stay that good. I can actually just do that with that, I think. Just got to be a bit careful because this gets quite wet. So if it gets too wet, it's going to wet your page. So that's why it's in a little dish. So having done that, I shall move this forward so that I can zoom in and we can concentrate on the little balloon. Oh, excuse my stomach. It's not been fed very well today. Oh, it's lunchtime, that's probably why. I'm just looking to see if that's the best I'm going to get. Let me just have a quick look at this. Let's see. Yeah, look at this. See if I can try to use this to see if I can get the best. I think that's the best I can do, but it's not too bad. Because that's a little bit small, is that? So I keep that under here, and then I know where it is. I've got my piece of photocopy paper handy so that I can practice the colour just before I put it on, just in case it's completely out. But apart from that, let's go. I'm going to use the middle one, I think, 50, so we'll wet that and dunk that. And I'm working in the little book of the little professional water set I did earlier, so I've got all my colours here to see, and there's quite a lot of colours here, and of course because I've used these on here, they're gonna kind of go, they're not going to be too far out, so that's quite near me. So everything's near and handy, so I'm not moving my hand too far away, because that means you can carry on for quite a long time. So we've got, I think we'll have a green, oh, we've got a green balloon, 2 greens up there. We'll have a red balloon down here, orange, maybe orange. We have a think. The worst thing is to start, oh, maybe a yellow balloon. I think we could possibly have, I was trying to do Victorian colours, but it doesn't work. I quite like that. It's just a little bit bright. Let's see how we go. I was looking earlier at all the Victorian ones, so I didn't want too bright. Possibly get that down there, maybe just a touch. Put it into here a bit. Probably should have gone for a smaller brush there, I think. You can't see anything there, and then here, I think I'm going to do this the same. It's just a little bit far away for me. But I quite like that. It's not too dark. So I hope that's in focus. Just maybe 2 seconds. It's looking a little bit. That might be better. Yes, Dorothy, do that. Dorothy says I'm going to draw the curtains so I can't look. I can say if you draw the curtains and he's in front of the window, he might fall over, thinking you might shock him. So I've gone to the smaller brush here now. Pink, purple, and green. I quite like those colours. I'm going to have a look at this gamboge because I haven't used this. And I quite like this colour, so I'll have a bit of a play. And this is a little bit bright, bearing in mind, of course, it's in the distance, really. But again, this is Kerby Rosanes. Now, there could be a bark alert because I've heard a man's voice, and it's not hubby, so be warned, there could be a bark alert. Because our car's not outside, so people think there's nobody in. Little do they know. I quite like that one, and then probably the middle one. I'm going to go back to this pink. I think this is, oh, I've just got a really nice colour actually, and it's not pink. It's got that bit of yellow in it, so it's like a cad red. It's warmed it up a tad. I think we'll use that one. There's somebody definitely outside, so as I say, I do apologise. We could have a bark alert in a minute. I still like working this way. I've got several different books and I work several different ways, so it's not too boring. So I'm liking that, but I must admit I love playing with colours in these Kerby Rosanes Imagimorphia and Animorphia. And I can't possibly mix these colours ever again. These are one-off colours. I mean, if I studied it and stopped and said I needed a bit of this colour and a bit of that colour, then yeah, I could do. But I mean, just playing like this. Again, I couldn't remember where to put my paints yesterday, so the chances of me remembering how I make a colour. So you'll have to forgive me. He's going to be a bit kind of a no-no, and I'm quite far away from this, so again, I've kept all the ropes separate. Not sure what I'm going to do with those. So if anybody's got any questions, oh, let me know. It is a slightly redder. The colours are a little bit out, but because I like that colour, I'm going to just take a little bit more. And all I'm doing is, this is what I've put in this one here. And it's dried. It's already dried because I did it a few days ago. So I'm going to bring that to here and then reconstitute a little bit of this. So the difference with this is this water pot will now get dirty because I am mixing colours differently. But I'm going to use, it's the little flowers that I wanted to do, which I can't find now. There they are. it's a dull red, it's not a bright red, so we may get away with it. So if you put this, see here, I actually want to do, so I'm going to wash that brush out, because I actually want the watercolour effect to go up these petals. So again, damp brush, a touch of colour. That's going to drive me insane. A touch of colour, and then you touch the edge, and you've just got to keep going. And I've got a hair right on the edge. If you keep going, you get a pale watercolour effect. And you've got to remember how much you touched last time, otherwise your petals will be completely different. So if this is going to be too dark, I'll start here, push this out. And then there's enough in there, no, not quite enough. I can touch this and push out to a pale watercolour effect. And I really like working like that. And again, it's dry, because this is a damp brush. There is a lot of light here and a lot of heat, but still it's a damp brush, and that lets you get some really nice subtle colours and highlights without having to go in several times with more paint, or that petal is now done. I don't have to go back to it if I don't want to. It's done. And there's something quite nice about that. You can go back and put some more low lights in if you want. Like, I'll do this one, and then if I touch that again, I can touch this again and make that darker if I want. The same with this. I can go back and play if I want to, but if I don't want to, I've still got quite a nice effect. Very quickly, very easily, and no water. And again, that's dry. So I've got a damp brush, touch of colour, and we're going here next. Each time I've got to clean the brush and damp it off, twist it round, touch the colour, and then we're off again. And the damp brush, I waited too long, I just have to touch that again and make it go a bit deeper. Right. Here we go, and a damp brush. And this one would be a little bit darker, but it would be anyway. And then just a touch on that one. Now they're done, and they took me a couple of minutes, but they're done. Don't have to do anything with them if I don't want to. And because I can't see many more, and because of the way I work, all I've done is clean the brush in here, but there wasn't any colour left because it was almost gone. Dampen the brush on here, dunk it and twist it to a point, and then I can pick a different green. Now earlier I touched, I opened a tin and it came out because it was, this is sap green, and I was hoping that the other one was sap green as well, but it's not looking that good. So I'm not wasting this colour, so I'm going to put it in this palette and let it dry, because there is a lot of neat colour on there, and I'm a tight Yorkshire lass. So I now need to activate this one here, and it's completely different. So I am going to go in here quickly with a palette knife. And I'm going to take this colour out, and it's dried. And I'm going to put it in this corner. Scraping all that off there, putting it in that corner. Because I will be using that. You can see there is some in here, look. So I'm going to give it a real good, and it will be a funny green for a little while, but I've got most of that out. And I opened this tube of paint, and sometimes when you open a new tube, it's been nipped. It will squish out. Of course, what happened, it squished out, and it was the nearest one. I should have put it on here instead of putting it in there, but I thought it was sap green, but this is sap green, so this must be, oh, is that hooker's green? No, sap green is lighter. I knew it was lighter. I don't know why I did that, but anyway. So I do have, so now I've got green here. I've got green here, and I've got green on the paintbrush, and I like that green, so I'm going to go straight in with this. It's deciding if I want to highlight or not. Because this will not, I don't think it'll give me a highlight. There's too much on there. But I'm not really bothered. I like the green. I'm just going to pop that in there. I mean, I could have left it in, but it's out now. That's not my ankle, that is my chair crunching. So I will have a quick look for other flowers. We've got one here. So if anybody's got any questions, and again, that's dry now, so I can just touch this. And it's getting rather dry, so I've got to be a bit careful. And have a quick look for some other flowers. I haven't done the flowers, but I have found a different leaf. I don't know where it's gone now. There's a different leaf here as well. And because I'm adding water to it, it's gone very pale now. So it's gone from this green to this green. And I found another one here. So I'm just touching water to this and it's activating the colour. That is a little bit pale, so I'm going to take some off the end of here. And oh, it's a little bit bright, is this? I didn't like this green. Never mind, it's done now. I can go over it with a brown or a red and make it darker. It doesn't suit the page. So I think we said this is Hooker's. This is not sap green, this is Hooker's green. It's a bit bright. And I think that would be... Oh, that was the duck's nose. I thought it was the leaf. Oh no, it is the leaf. That isn't a duck, it's a snake. Goodness me. Sometimes you've got to look twice at these images. See if I can find... there's a... Yeah, I'm going to have to do something with this green because I don't like it, but hey-ho. It'll do for a stem colour, so it's there. And I've got kind of thing there. So I'm going to just, since we're making things up, I don't know what that is, but it seems that it matches, but it doesn't. There's some very strange carryings on in these paintings, in these sketches. You've got to keep a good point. If you don't keep a good point, your watercolours won't behave themselves. And again, there's another one down here. And if I really hate it, I can do something else with it. I suppose it's picked some of them out that weren't picked out before. I'm not sure if they are a flower or if they are actually. I found another leaf here. There's a leaf there, so we'll fill that one in. When it's pale, it's quite nice, but when it's deeper, it's not as nice. I wonder if the dragonfly would be that colour. There we go. Just managed to colour in the dragonfly. So that was a bit of a disaster. I don't normally like changing things, but you've got a green dragonfly. There's another leaf here. I've got quite a lot of colour on here, so I'm going to just wet the brush and tease the colour down. And if I really hate that colour when I've finished, I'll just go over it with a red, and it'll just dull it down slightly. We've got some more stems. And this is a different green, but I put them in frame. And just take a bit of time, this particular brush. I'm using the colour that's on the end of the thing because I don't want to waste it. And with a little bit of red, it will tone down to be a beautiful green. In fact, I should have put it in that pink, but I just thought I'd keep that pink in case I need it. So we'll just see what happens. That one, and then I can actually touch it a little bit more to get a real concentrate just for that shadow in there. And here is a little stem. And again, I think that's going to be a bit too strong. And he's obviously climbing a stem. So thanks for popping in, everybody, and oh, sorry, bark alert. Sorry, little monster's awake. If you've got any questions, pop them in caps. I'm going to put, I think I've got a rogue hair just on the end of there. This isn't the finer brush that I'm working. Yes, there is somebody outside. Sorry. if he doesn't shut up, I'm going to have to go sort him out. Why do people insist on talking outside? I'll leave that up because I don't want to mark that. In fact, I could use my brain. And put a piece of paper in there while I'm playing with those little stems. And hopefully that's watered down so it doesn't look exactly like that one. But as I say, if I really hate them, I'll just go over them. And there's a stem in there somewhere, and a little one in there. So while I'm over here, I'll clean the brush. And I'm going to go back into that pink. I think that was a bit, maybe too much. And just, nope, maybe not enough. And just push that colour through there. Oh, we're thinking we're going to do all these, are we? Okay then. See if we can get a nice highlight on that one. And if we put this over the top, it didn't work. And that's a strange pale green, isn't it? Got the highlight going the wrong way, but never mind. Never mind. He's got wings. There's some more flowers here. And again, this is another quiet way of working, which is quite therapeutic, because you're just picking these things off one at a time and creating a nice watercolour effect, but not having tons of water splashing about and spilling. And it's dry, so you can't smudge it, which again is fab, because there's nothing worse than doing something and then immediately putting your arm in it, because believe me, I can do that as easy as the next person. I think that's a little one just on the end there. So again, you wouldn't have the dark, you'd just have a touch of pink. I'm not sure what's going on there. There's another little one here. And again, that possibly would be a darker one because he's under there. So you can give him a little bit of a shadow. And a bit of a shadow there. And across there, if you wanted, because of that leaf, and then that one's in shadow. That's if you want to mess about. I normally don't want to mess about. Now I have missed a bit there, so I'll have to go back. So we've got another one here. and I'm touching the palette. I'm not actually going into the paints. I'm touching the palest amount of colour here. I'm just getting the damp brush, just touching a little bit of this and finding a pale flower. There's one behind here. And you still get tons of colour. I think this is the same kind of flower, so we've got this one as well. Make the petals a little bit paler. Again, I can touch that colour because that's behind it. Touch it again because I want that a little bit darker because they're behind. So you get this nice, you get this nice little area going on there. There's one here. So a damp brush just to tease colour out. There's one here. Now I do want the highlight for that one, so a damp brush. I think I've probably got a bit too much on that one. What else have I got? Thing is, you have to look at everything twice because you miss things. There's a big one there. Now I would like a nice highlight on there if I could get one, so a bit of colour. And if it's a bigger space, you break it up into a smaller space. So I can do those flowers like that. I think there's one hiding behind here. And so I'll pick that one off as well. So, oh, hi Carol, welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream, but it's a very quiet live stream. I'm concentrating on this balloon picture because I'm picking out all the little pink flowers. And I'm not sure if I like these bright greens, but I can dull them down. But I found another one here, so trying to get a little bit of a watercolour effect by working quite dry. Although that was a lot wetter than I normally do. This is a bit bigger brush. I might go back to the little brush now. Oh no, that is the smallest one, isn't it? Yeah. Is that number 1? No, that's number 3. I need a little bit of green for this. And I still got some of this green. Now I've put a different green on top of it, but I still got this green here. And this is the green of all the leaves, so little bits I've missed now go back in. So that's quite nice, because otherwise if I'd have got rid of that, and I saw another one somewhere, that leaf there wants to be green, and then this, I'm doing a bit of a brighter stem, so I don't know if I like it, but if I really hate it, I'll just go over them with a nice red a bit later and just tone them down a bit, because I think that's a bit too bright for me. It's too fake. Oops. So we've got a bit of a dinosaur going on here, so let's do Dizzy Dinosaur. And I've got a bit of a reddy brown on there, so let's have a look. It's a bit too red. I think we'll have him a bit more. Just put a touch of gamboge into this red. See if I can orange it up a bit. Oh, I quite like that. We're going to have an orange dinosaur. Just changed my mind. I'm going to put a little bit of gamboge on there. So it's going to be yellow and orange dinosaur. Sometimes it's quite nice to play with colour. And I'll touch that under there just to give that a bit of shadowing a bit. So we've got our little dinosaur coloured in. What else is going on over there? We've got another green one that I've missed here. And that's that pale. Now that's a little bit wetter than that brush was a bit wet because I've just cleaned it out. So got to be a little bit careful. And if I just put this up to here, we've got, these are pineapples, but because I've got this gamboge, I'm going to use that here. And if I keep going, they're going to get paler and paler and paler. I quite like that. So I can just touch that and then I'm going to use a brown stem. So I need a little bit of blue to go into this. And that should give me a nice brown stem. It's a bit red, but it's a warm brown. Makes a bit of a difference. And there isn't many things now. We've got the dragonfly, so I'm going to use that brown for the dragonfly. Colour him in. And I'm going to use a little 10-0 brush. I'm going to give him a bright blue eye. I found a snail there, so we're going to have to do these snails next. I think there's about 4 snails. So I quite like this yellow gumbo. I quite like this, but it's a bit yellow, so I'm going to put a touch of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put a touch of this. Into a touch of this. Ooh, it's quite nice. Now, maybe a touch more. So I'm putting purple into yellow. I don't like grey snails. When I got snails, I don't like grey snails. We can put him here, and he's getting lighter and lighter until he's just yellow. And shell, I think, could be a paler version of him. Just a little bit, maybe just a touch more. So we just get a little bit of colour on that, and then we can just do this. So they're not horrible grey snails. Oh, hi Peggy, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else popping in? I'm just picking my way through this balloon page in the Kerby Rosanes Imagimorphia, and these little flowers are getting paler and paler, and I just want a touch of green. I can't decide what to do with the birds. I actually quite like this colour now I've done it. I can't decide. I quite like these colours. And this is the same yellow, gamboge yellow, but I've just put a touch of purple in it. And it's quite a pinky purple. It's magenta, I think. I'm guessing it's magenta. So that's quite an unusual colour. I'm not sure if that's going to work. Going back into there, but I'll have a go. You can tell when the brush gets too wet because it just will not do what you want it to do, so you've got to... And that's probably too wet. So we'll put some more purple into this gamboge, make it a little bit, well, sorry, I'm saying gamboge, it's magenta. So I'm not sure if I like that, but I'm getting a little bit bolder. So what I was playing with, if you look at this one here, I think that's magenta, and it's in there. And I put the gamboge here and mixed it in with the gamboge. So that pinky kind of bit on there gave it a nice kind of edge. But I'm going to just play with that a bit more because I quite like that. That's the wrong... That might do quite well. Again, just working that up to nothing. You'd have to do it several times. And there could be a bark alert because somebody's passing. Sorry, although I said I wanted to be quick, I faffed about with that a little bit. But that's quite nice. It's different. I'm working with completely different colours that I'm making up. So again, that's different for me. So I've got another little bird here. And because I'm making it up, I'm just checking that it is the right colour, because of course one touch of magenta and your colour could go everywhere. Now, am I going to do the yellow first? I might just go in with this colour. But again, you can't go lighter, but you can go darker. But if I keep carrying on with this, it's naturally taken out some of that colour. So that's done it for me. And again, I quite like that. I prefer to do it that way than this way. So damp brush, touch of colour, and we'll start here, work out. And then across the top. And start in there and work across. Oops. Moving. So I've got quite a nice grade going up there, and yet I've just used one little bit of paintbrush instead of several different pens and pencils, and that is so much easier for me. And yet I've got a lovely grade of colour. So I actually prefer that one to this one, and that took me a lot longer to do than this one did. So we've got this one now. So oops. So we want the colour here and take it up. And the colour under here. And then the colour on the top. Sorry, concentrating a little bit. Oh, little Tara's gone back to sleep because I can hear him snoring. And we can just... So again, I quite like that effect. Oops, sorry, ping pong. Ping pong. I did tell my daughter to text me every couple of hours, so maybe that's what she's doing, unless it's hubby to tell me he's on his way home. No, it isn't. Oh, it is. It is. And there. And there. Right, sorry about that. So we've got one bird done. Keep going through these. I'll have to move this water because I need to move this down a bit. So we've got another little birdie here. So I hope everybody's okay. Thanks for joining me. I'm having fun with this gamboge and magenta. I think that could be a darker one actually. I'm pretty sure that would be. Oh no, maybe not. If you start here. Yeah, there's maybe not too much gradient in this. Oh, maybe just a smidgen of a highlight on there, so that's not so bad. So he's done, and there's this one there. So I've now definitely got to go to a damp brush, a touch of colour, and then tease that into there, up. And there's a bit too much water on the brush, but I'll just get away with it maybe. And again, starting here to be dark. I think I'm going to do these. So that means I'm going to have to change these clouds or smoke, or whatever they are, because they're now not going to go because that's morphed out of there. So I'm now going to morph all these into gamboge yellow. Which is something that I didn't think I was going to do, but it's surprising then. This is going to completely change this composition now. But if I carry on with the pale here, that will give me a fab highlight for here. And then I can go back into the gamboge and darken this up here. So hope I'm still in frame. I hadn't intended on doing this, but again, this watercolour is a bit of a freer way to work for me. And that's going to give that highlight. At least I've given these some colour, which is something I've never done before. And under here we've got a little bit of something going on. The gamboge is a gorgeous colour. It's very warm. I would think it's the next step from cad yellow. Well, that's where I've put it anyway. Cad yellow. I've put it here. And in theory, when you start with this colour and you carry on, if you had a wet enough brush, it will take you to quite a pale one to go on top. I think the brush is wet enough for that. And now it's too wet. It does take a bit of practice, this. It's not overnight dead easy, but there's again one photocopy practice and you're away. hi BM, welcome to Bunny's Designs. I'm just having a play in my Kerby Rosanes, and I found another snail, and I started with the snails and I've ended up with the gamboge. And snail colours. And there's a little bit of this pink left, so we'll get rid of this. Just there, which is just in frame. And we'll do this one as well because it's pale. And then that's what started is on the gamboge, was the little, I'm going to call it a pineapple. So that's pale. We've got a caterpillar there. We've got a caterpillar. We could have a red caterpillar, couldn't we? I quite like vermilion. So we're going to have a vermilion caterpillar. It's a bit pink, but I can dull him down in a bit if I want to. And he could have a blue eye as well. And colour spots. So has anybody got any questions? Pop them in caps. Got a little pink caterpillar there. And these are now going from gamboge, and of course what have I just found there? It's a flower. And could possibly do a flower, I think, there. A pale green, whatchamacallit, curly, I think they're curly ferns, aren't they? I think they're ferns. Another little pink. Flower. So that corner's nearly done now, so it's quite pale. And if I just put, sorry about this, I put that there. There could be a bark alert. So we've got a bit of a snake there. We're going to get some more of this gamboge colour, so I'm just going to finish this one off here. I quite like this colour now. I've started using it. Wrong colour. That's the bird colour. That's not the... It's because I wasn't concentrating. Sorry, bark alert. Get some yellow on there. I think once I've got all these cloud swirly things in, I think that's going to show everything else up. So that would be quite a good indication, because that's what I'm going to do, is take that up to here. We've got this. So I think it's Wednesday today, isn't it? So Dee Dee should be on in a minute. So if anybody, if everybody's, I'm sure everybody's knows Dee Dee's link. I'm pretty sure Dee Dee should be on a Wednesday. I always thought it was about 2:30 our time, but it was about 1:30. So I'm going to put some deep greens in the background, and I think that will lift everything else up. Now that's supposed to be one of those, but I'm going to do that green. Don't like that green, so I'm going to get rid of it. I found this again. I'm going to just put. It's going to have to be brown. They were pink, but this is going to be brown. I don't want a pinky one really. And I'm not sure what to do with the snake. Could be bright. It could be bright yellow. I'll think about little snake. So again, we've got another yellow one here, going all the way up to that bird. So I think I know what's wrong. It's the if you don't rinse this out, it gets so saturated that I don't know if you can hear this. Oopsie. Bear with me 2 seconds. That's the baby wipe, and that's how wet it gets. So it takes a lot of water out of your brush. So your brush is very, very dry. And that's why sometimes I was making a bit of a mess of it. So Gambo's yellow in there. Starting here. Because if I start here, go around this area here, and naturally go up here. By the time I get to the top, it's going to be faint. So I can drop straight down to here and put this highlight one in here and there. And I haven't had to get another colour, and I haven't had to waste what's on here. So I'm all for that. So I've got this really natural progression up there. And then clean the brush. And I need a touch of Gamboge there and a touch of magenta. Maybe a touch more magenta. It's very pink, is that? But so again, these can change slightly, and you've got to keep going, and it should get paler and paler. And you could go across the top here, and also that way. And then if you go in again underneath, it should match the colour at the end. Maybe just a touch more under there. So that's morphed up into that little bird there. And that's a little bit wetter than I normally work, but still very flat, so I quite like that. I need that green for this leaf here. Again, dump the brush, twist all the water off it, and use this pale green here. How are we doing? Is everybody okay? Haven't a clue what to do with the snake. Oh, I've missed a birdie, look here. So I'm going to start with the yellow right down here, this gamboge. And if I don't like it, I can make it into a dark green. I just thought that would be a little bit different. And it's going all the way up here, sorry, bark alert, could be a bark alert. Potential bark alert. I need that to be dark because I want that one to be highlighted. And then I can take this up here. I just can't see particularly well, but I'm sure it'll be fine. That's a different one, so if we got this one, I could have done with probably a little bit bigger brush. Oh dear, there's trouble now. There's trouble now. Trouble's awake. And up to here. And so if I come back down here, it can be quite light. And so that's a lot paler. And then I can just drop down here with a little bit of darker. I could play with that a bit later and put a little bit more colour in here, just to give this a bit of a highlight there. But again, I'm playing with the gamboge I've never played with before, so it's quite nice. So I've got a little bit of interest going on up here. There could be trouble because everybody's awake now. Everybody's awake now. So, oopsie, I'll just, don't bang your tail at me, miss. I'll just zoom out a bit. Sorry, could be trouble at the mill. So I've actually got quite a lot done on that page. And colours that I don't normally use. And that's what I wanted to do with this watercolour set. Use colours that I don't normally use. If I can just make sure that it's in focus. And of course there's still quite a lot of colour on there, so I can shut that up. And that's what I need. I need to be able to move fairly quickly. So I'll stop the recording because I think there's going to be trouble. And so